Hello everyone, my name is Isaac and, in my video, I will be covering the theme of Babylonia and their discoveries of the first written language, cuneiform. Cuneiform was the first form of writing ever made on Earth using various lines to form shapes and symbols which would then translate into sounds. The Sumerians were the ones to make cuneiform, and this style was long before the Egyptians had made hieroglyphics, further proving the fact that the Sumerians were the first to make a written language. We will be reviewing 3 pieces of cuneiforms found by the Metropolitan Museum of Art are called Cuneiform Tablet, Old Babylonian Balog to the Mother Goddess Uru, Cuneiform Tablet, Student Exercise Tablet, Cuneiform Cylinder, Inscription of Nebuchadnezzar II describing the construction of the outer city wall of Babylon. But first I should note that there aren't any records of who discovered the cuneiform technique, so it's easier to assume a group of superior Sumerians discovered the technique. The first appropriate piece would be the cuneiform tablet, Student Exercise Tablet. This piece is significant because it shows the beginnings of learning the intricate writing of cuneiform. This piece of Babylonian history was believed to be made around the 20th-16th century BC of the Old Babylonian period. The medium used for this and the other 2 pieces was clay. The actual writing was used with sticks to put indents on the clay bricks to hold the writings together as it dried up. According to this specific piece, the student who was learning cuneiform was writing the name Urash, a deity tied to Babylonians, multiple times. The rest, however, was too damaged to translate. Cuneiforms use many lines and shapes to form the languages that the Babylonians would speak out collectively. Respectively to this piece from the student, the first star-like sign on the left is a sign that was used to indicate the name of a divine being. As it is for learning the style of cuneiform, one must understand and memorize countless variations of line arrangement in order to properly communicate with another person. It should be noted that a slight change of direction from a line could completely transform the meaning or sound of the text. Cuneiform could have possibly been the root of many of our current languages in Asia and practically everywhere else. Since most cuneiform was made through lines to represent various words or sounds, such is the same with relatively high similarities as the Chinese and Korean languages. It's exactly this reason that looking into the cuneiform from Babylonia is so important, because it is the root of many other languages. Looking at the piece, it could be inferred that the piece was purposely made to fit in one's hand for an easier grip while making indents with the necessary tools to write. The size of the circular clay tablet was at 3 by 1 1/8 inches. But this could have only been exclusive to students just learning the style of cuneiform. As for the next few pieces, the clay tablets would evolve into various sizes and not just a circular piece for one's palm. Concerning various sizes of clay tablets, the next is bigger than a circular clay tablet and has been translated to a larger extent, allowing for better context. The second piece is called the Cuneiform Tablet, Old Babylonian Balog to the Mother Goddess Uru. This piece, which is at a size of 3 7/8 x 1 7/8 x 1 1/8 and uses the same medium of clay, has been preserved with far more text than the previous piece. This piece was made roughly around 19th-16th century BC. This specific piece concerning the title of it has connections to the goddess Uru. Balog translates roughly to musical instruments that were used in rituals. According to the people who discovered and translated this specific clay tablet, it was dedicated to the goddess Uru. The text celebrates her power before lamenting the destruction of a city. Just like the past clay tablet, this piece was also made during the Old Babylonian period. From looking at the style of the cuneiform, it can be understood that the cuneiform writing style was also used for musical instruments to play songs for any occasion, whether it may be for a party or a ritual. The goddess Uru was a goddess of fertility, mountains, and rulers. So, in this context, the goddess Uru is grieving for the loss and destruction of a city, since she is also known as the mother goddess. This is another significant importance that ties the theme of cuneiform. The Babylonians made an intricate writing form that allowed them to tell stories and make music with lines and symbols, and within those lines translate to various words or sounds. Through the music and songs, the people of Babylonia were able to make praises to the gods for a better tomorrow, whether it be for better harvest or victory in an upcoming war. The final piece tells a report about the success of a large construction for Babylon. The final piece's name is called Cuneiform Cylinder, inscription of Nebuchadnezzar II describing the construction of the outer city wall of Babylon. Compared to the other two clay tablets, this was a clay cylinder with clay being the sole medium. This clay piece was found at around ca. 604 to 562 BC during the Neo-Babylonian period. Its size is in between the first and the second, with a size of 2 5/8 times 4 7/8 times 2 13/16 inches. This piece compared to the other two is rather a report to keep a record of King Nebuchadnezzar II's accomplishment of building a great outer wall around Babylonia, bigger than any other wall made before him. King Nebuchadnezzar II said this: "I built a strong wall that cannot be shaken with bitumen and baked bricks. I laid its foundation on the breast of the netherworld, and I built its top as high as a mountain." It was this achievement made by King Nebuchadnezzar II that Babylonia grew to become a grand imperial capital. Unlike the two clay tablets, this clay cylinder was made and produced specifically to last against the time and erosion. These cylinders were baked with a cuneiform script so that they could be buried and rediscovered for later research with little to no damage. The king himself went to extreme extents to make sure these cylinders, keeping records of his great achievements, were safely preserved. These cylinders that King Nebuchadnezzar II made were for future kings and for the gods to find and read about. This would lead to a better understanding of past achievements made by other kings, and in doing so honor their name with bigger achievements. The idea of baking clay with already imprinted cuneiform is similar in one way, like Johannes Gutenberg's idea of a printing press, but without the baking concept involved. This very idea of baking the clay tablets made a significant impact on the preservation of future clay tablets in Babylonia, allowing for us in modern times to truly appreciate their work. The third importance of the cuneiform made by the Babylonians was for the safekeeping of numerous reports and records from past kings and people. To gather all important details from each of the three clay tablets, everyone must understand that without the invention of the cuneiform style in clay tablets, there might not have been the idea of writing for a longer time, therefore causing a huge negative impact on society's ability to record and preserve the language and a form of communication. While all three clay tablets present different iconographies, one being about education, second being rituals/music, and the third being about record keeping, they still share the important theme of writing and communication. As simplistic it may seem to us now, the invention of cuneiform back then was by far the biggest accomplishment of mankind and has evolved human life through future generations and kingdoms. We all have books and databases thanks to the primitive technological discovery of cuneiform, and not realizing its greatness would be a loss to future generations learning about art and its powerful relation to history itself.